What a great mine. This is the ultimate bituminous soft coal experience. So this mine looks pretty big. Well, watch this. That's cramped. That's awesome, isn't it? As I'm filming this, it looks like a normal size gangway. Well, it's not. Watch this. Oh. My head is hitting the roof. Man, that's cramped. Wow. My hat is off to them for working in these conditions. That's a small gangway, man. Woo! This is that very small sized gangway where my helmet was touching the roof. Very small sized track ties. This was the working face in the one chamber off of the first gangway. It was pretty low, to be honest. There's a birch timber back there. And in the foreground, there's an extremely small timber. So someone would crawl in here every day. This was his office. Wow. That's pretty low. This is something special. Right in the foreground, there's rail, but it's not metal, it's wooden rail. Super old school wooden rail in an abandoned bituminous bootleg independent coal operation. That's wooden rail. So here's where the wooden rail runs out and continues down this small side gangway. Little collapse right there. Neat overhead timbering right there. This gangway is just cramped. That collar right here, that is pretty low. Really like it though. A lot of fun in there. A little bit of roof delamination there. Bituminous coal vein is on the left side. Pretty photogenic with that orange roof. The contrasts are pretty strong with the coal. Almost looks like anthracite, but it's not. I'm not gonna lie, I feel naughty in a bituminous coal mine. I'm sorry, anthracite. I'm not cheating. I swear. This mine was never electrified. It was all done with carbides. This was a Depression era bootleg independent operation. So this is actually spent carbide fuel. This is a small little working face off of the gangway because I'm in the middle of the gangway, and there's my helmet for scale. So they were just beginning to push until here when they stopped mining and closed this little bootleg operation. This is a pretty wide chamber where it faces out. It continues on the other side of that gobbing. My helmet is gently resting against the roof, and I'm sitting just slightly above the gangway floor on my rear. So yeah, really cramped. So I'm at the end of the gangway here where the mine faces out. I mean, this was where they were working the actual coal seam. They could have advanced this coal seam further into the mountain, and they could have also advanced this gangway subsequently further into the mountain, but the mine closed. That was it. Right there's a cool fossil indentation. This is not the best example of a mine roof. There's delamination in the rock strata. So I'm going to get out of this ASAP, which is right now. There's this 3-piece timber set that I filmed just before. One of the more smaller ones I ever saw. This bituminous coal vein is actually shining. little bit glass-like, somewhat like anthracite. Back at the wooden rail. Such a rare sight. Really bad collapse. I'm not going to push through that. Coal veins on the left. This rock was once in the roof. It is now down on the ground. Another small working. Carbide tin. This would have had lots of carbide fuel in it. That timber on the far right is actually load bearing, or at least it was load bearing when it was set. Wow, the mine just got crazy. The contrasts are interesting, and also the way they drove this small gangway is totally different than the rest of the mine. Coal vein again is on the left hand side, lowest portion of the screen. There's some gobbing off to the right. Roof collapse obviously there too. Some mushrooms growing on that timber. I would not want to eat that. That's a trip to the hospital. Some sort of plant is growing out of this cave-in. Look how bad this gets. Ooh. It's not the worst, but definitely not the best. This is an old collapse, which is a good sign because it means that the roof came down a while ago, so it's probably stabilized. And how I know this is, look at this artwork. Most likely by the bootleggers themselves. Trying to make it look like a caveman scene. A hunting scene. That is so crazy. I saw this a number of years ago when I was waiting on my other friend who came down here with me, and I was like, what? Just really funny. They knew someone would eventually see this, most likely. I mean, really dangerous roof, but really beautiful. About the size of those small gangways where I was hunched over. So there's really no room for error when traversing under this. That's an interesting rock strata sitting right atop the coal, way it protrudes out. Looks like pinstriping. This roof is coming down. What an interesting looking collapse. This is pretty cool. It's a bituminous air shaft. Got all that moss. So some air is getting through, but it's backfilled. It's just enough to smoke you though if you fall in it. You can crawl out, I'm sure, but I don't want to find out.
Alright, so here's just a nondescript photo of the sun shining next to a tree. I noticed this once I got out of the mine. This one was a lot of fun to explore and to film. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. See ya.